back in the workshop this evening, but not to do any work. Or at least I don't think so. We'll see how time goes. But we have an unboxing. This package just arrived from paulsfinest.com. Now, paulsfinest.com, as far as I can tell, is by far the best place to get any sharpening gear within Canada. And we don't have a lot of good sources for many things in Canada. So when you find a good site that really has everything you need, man, you got to stick to it and support those kinds of businesses, because we can't afford to lose any more, have any more business shut down just because products might be cheaper or more available in the States. And Paul's Finest is one of those places that's really doing things right. They have everything. So if you're in Canada, go check out paulsfinest.com. They're the Canadian distributor. They're the only Canadian distributor I know of that sells the Edge Pro products. And you guys know I've been testing out the Edge Pro Apex for a few months now. So anytime someone asks me where to get an Edge Pro in Canada, I point them to Paul's Finest. So Paul messaged me there probably 2 weeks ago or so and asked if I have tried out the Shapton products. And I actually hadn't. You guys know I've been freehand sharpening for a long time. Tried a lot of different stones, a lot of different brand names, from real low-end stuff to higher-end stuff, but I've never ever seen Shaptons in person. So we're going to get to play with them. He told me he's going to send me some Shapton product. He said he'd send a few things. I have no clue what he sent. No idea. So I'm excited to open up this box here today. Let's see what Paul sent. Just make sure I got nothing left in here. This is a weighty package. Wrapped nicely. Just a little note here from Paul. He just says to enjoy. So what do we have? Holy smokes. So we have 2 Shapton glass stones made in Japan. If you don't know, Shapton makes some high-end stuff. What do we have here? We have a ceramic course, Kuromako blue and black. I'm gonna have to do some reading. Like I said, I've never used the Shapton products, so I'm not overly familiar. I can't like rhyme off all the details for you guys and woo you and impress you with how much I know, because I'm a little bit out of my element here. So we'll have to figure this all out together. So yeah, just in having a quick read here, the Kuromako is a series from Shapton, and this is the blue-black Kuromako, which is a 320 grit ceramic whetstone. So that is a coarse grit. It's 320, and in a ceramic, which is super hard. Oh, look at that. That is so beautiful. Made in Japan. That is classy. A nice thick stone. You can really feel that grit just biting your hand. It's got a carrying case with it, which is nice. Okay, so it's a little movement in there. So I'm guessing it's best to keep that little foam in there. That keeps everything nice and snug. Yeah. Got the little case that can also be used as a stand. So that's really awesome. Now, look at the packaging on these. And I see down here, we have a 1,000 and a 4,000. Wow. Paul's Finest really, really hooked us up. Thank you so much, Paul, my friend. We're going to have a ton of fun trying out these stones. We're going to be bringing some new content to you guys. Of course, we're going to have to do a bit of a sharpening and review series, getting my opinions on the glass stones, on the famous Shaptons. Really excited to take a look at these. So first off, that packaging, just look how classy that is. We have a pull sleeve here. That is nicely done, man. Look at that. That is amazing. Look at that translucence. So you notice here it says 14.7 microns or a 1000 mesh. Let's see if that 4000 is any different. Just have a look here. Again, that translucence. We have a 4000 grit or 4000 mesh, 3.68 microns. Those are so beautiful. So since we had those few gorgeous Shaptons just add to the collection, and I was just moving some stones around, I figured we would have a look at what stones I have in my collection. You guys know I've been freehand sharpening for a long time. I put out a lot of videos on freehand sharpening with all good responses for the most part. People really seem to like the content I put out, so I keep putting them out. But I wanted to show you guys what stones I've gone through over the years and just mention a few important things. So over here, these are three really cheap stones. Now all of these three were sent to me. This is a 1000 6000 by Absolute Peak. I did a video on that. They wanted to send one for a video, so I absolutely did a review. And of course I always point out that I never sell out. I never ask, companies don't ask for positive reviews, and if they do, I tell them that that's not a guarantee. Sometimes they back out. Absolute Peak just wanted to send it for my opinion, and I absolutely did that. Sharp Pebble. I have two stones here, a 3000 8000 combo and a, what's the other one, 1400 combo there. Half decent little stones, not too bad. I've put out several videos on these now, and yeah, they're fun. I still play around with them from time to time. I have this Woodstock Steelix. The company that makes it is Steelix, but Woodstock distributes this stone. This is a 1000 6000 combo stone. This is my first ever whetstone, and I still use it all the time, and I absolutely love it. Then I invested, actually several years ago now, from Paul's Finest. This is a 400 grit Nanoa Superstone, and this is a 3000 grit Nanoa Superstone. So these are beautiful. This 3000 is so dreamy, and this 400 too just feels so velvety. Once you step up from like a lower end whetstone, I would put this a little more over here actually. Let's scooch this one over here, because this is a fantastic find and pretty cheap. I think this one is around 60 bucks now for this combo stone, so not that cheap anymore, but I really like it. But once you step up from these to this, things start feeling really differently. A little while ago I picked up this is a Sigma 2 ceramic 240 grit. This is a big stone. This thing eats steel like crazy. It's a monster. I have this 8000 King here. This one's pretty much reserved for straight razors, and I really like it. The important thing I want to mention, for one, is you don't necessarily need a massive toolkit. Okay, I sharpened for the first probably 2-3 years with just this stone. This is the only thing I used, and I got pretty well all the same edges that I get today. It took me longer, it was less efficient, the experience wasn't quite as nice. It's a lot smaller surface you're working on, and it's just, there's something to be desired there, but I got it. Even still, like I said, I still play around with some of these cheap ones from time to time. The point is, and you guys know I've talked about this before, I hate elitism when it comes to almost anything. The idea that you absolutely need certain products to get certain results is a complete lie, in my opinion. I can take these, I think these are like 30 bucks for both of them. You get both of these for like 30 bucks. And no, the quality of material isn't there. They don't cut overly fast. They're not the grits that they say they are. But I get good results. You guys see, produce hair shaving edges. Are they buttery smooth? Not quite as smooth, but I do get the results on these. These are good stones. Like this are an investment. Like these Shaptons here, they are a total investment. They cost some money, but man, if you're into freehand sharpening and something you like, it's a hobby, or even more so, you're doing work with it and you rely on those tools, it's important that they perform well, that they cut fast, they're really efficient cutters, and that you enjoy your experience. And in my opinion, you just don't get that enjoyment with these stones over here. They feel different. You guys that have been sharpening for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, these super stones, these are a great mid-range set that I would highly recommend. I would certainly recommend this Sigma 2 here. This is a monster. I'm excited to try, though, this this ceramic 320 here that Paul just sent along. I'm really excited because I've tried the Nano 400 and I've tried the 240 Sigma 2. So this is going to be really interesting and a lot of fun. This is, of course, we like investing in our craft, and freehand sharpening like this absolutely is a craft, and in my opinion, something worth investing in. So we're going to give these a try right now. So tonight we're going to be sharpening one of my customs, just finished up for a client. This is a beautiful Mirror Palace Santoku. Hello, Mr. Camera, look at that handle. But this thing does not have an edge yet. And what better way to try out those beautiful Shaptons than on this? I am going to throw a little tape, a little painter's tape on those flat surfaces, because those mirror polishes are really hard to get to. It's an awful lot of work, and if I can save a few scratches, a few smudges, I'm certainly going to do so. So apparently the first run with this stone, as far as I was reading online, Shapton recommends a short soak, and thereafter splash and go apparently. The other ones are splash and go, and you can see the stone was just starting to dry out there fairly quickly. So I'll just keep giving it a little spritz, and now let's give it a try. Ooh, that's got some bite to it. Now my first thought is that it's very, the word I would use, whether you know the term or not, is homogeneous. You don't notice any different size in particle, because what you have here is basically a block of little sharpening particles that are like cemented into a paste. That's how stones like this work. And sometimes, and I especially know this with the cheaper stones, this is one of the biggest differences for me, is they're not exactly homogeneous. You get different sized particles throughout the stone, so as you're running across like this, you're hearing little different sounds, and you're feeling little textures, and little pieces of grit that are bigger are hitting your blade, and things like that. This stone I would call very homogeneous. There's no variation in grit, and that's something you get into when you get into the higher end stones, is you lose that variation, and the stone is very predictable, which makes it much easier to get good results. So that's kind of one of the things you're paying for, in my opinion, when you invest in a higher end stone like this. Of course, this is a 320 grit stone. It's quite coarse, not their coarsest, mind you. They do a 120 grit stone. This is 320 grit stone, and it's ceramic. Ceramic is super hard compared to, say, silicon carbide or aluminum oxide stones you get. Ceramic is an extremely hard and aggressive cutting material, so we would expect nothing less than this stone to perform extremely well. and it is just cutting like crazy. You see, I see my angle is off a little bit on my blind side. Just a few more strokes, and we'll have already established our secondary bevel. Now, this knife is ground pretty thin, so that's why it's not going to take a long time to grind in that secondary bevel. But still, that cuts extremely fast. Important to get the entire length of that bevel there. Now, if you recall, I said I had these 3 workhorse stones. Your workhorse stones are your low grits. I would say anything below like 400 are going to be your work stones, so they're going to be removing chips and things like that. This is a 240 ceramic, a 320 ceramic, and then a 400, what do we have here? Aluminum, no, silicon carbide, I believe. We have here in the Nanowa Superstone. Don't take that as the gospel truth. That might be incorrect. I'm not going to look it up right now. This feels velvety smooth, but doesn't cut super fast. Cuts really well, but doesn't cut super fast. This one here, this 240 ceramic, cuts viciously fast, but it's really rough. You could really do some damage to your knife quickly with this, and you don't get that velvety texture when you're working on it, of course, because it bites so hard that it's just carving away steel constantly. This is a beautiful compromise. It's not much slower at all cutting than this beast here, but you do get that smooth, controllable, like predictable feeling. The texture is predictable. It feels safe. It's not grabbing at your edge as you're doing your cutting strokes. It's just, yeah, it's a beautiful feeling stone. Now onto the 1000 Shapton here. This is a 14.7 micron. So basically how these stones work, and I don't have a lot of information, like I said, I'm far from the expert. I'm just getting into these stones here with this shipment. But you have a tempered glass plate on the back, a sort of a frosted texture, and that is a perfectly true piece of material that provides a really hard and true backing to your actual stone, which is ceramic here. So that's why these are called the Shapton glass stones. That's what makes them so unique, is that glass plate that the ceramic grit, or the cutting surface, is mounted on. So I'm just going to mount this in my Nanowa stone holder there. And these are splash and go, so these shouldn't really take in any water. Now, 0 prior experience, so this is exciting. I already like that real nice wide work surface. Just look at that stroke of metal there. That is just the smoothest. That is the smoothest stone I've ever felt in my life. And smooth doesn't mean low grit. I don't mean smooth in that way. It just feels like velvet. Oh, that is so dreamy. It's hard to explain the feeling. You've got to experience it, but this is a beautiful thing. You can see all that black buildup there on the stone. For you guys that don't have really any experience with sharpening, that black buildup is metal particle. So for 1000 grit, note how quickly that metal particle is building up there. A few cutting strokes. It's not going to take a whole lot with a stone that cuts this fast and a knife this thin. Notice how shallow of an angle I'm using with the knife, because this is a kitchen performer. So just doing a little test here, guys. Now here's one way to tell if you have a good stone. I just came right off the 1000. That's no stropping, no special tricks, no nothing. Just my normal sharpening method right off the 1000. And you have an edge like that. That is That is some incredible results right there. Now we're about to go on to the 4000, and for how smooth that 1000 is, like how buttery smooth, how nice feeling it is, I can just imagine how this 4000 is going to feel, or at least I'm super excited to check it out. So here we go. That is not going to get old. It's just a different feeling. I haven't spent much time on ceramics anyways. Spent a little time on diamond, lots of time on aluminum oxide and silicon carbide. But that is so... It's the texture. The texture is just a thing of perfection. A thing of beauty. It's hard to explain. So here we go, right off that 4000. No stropping. Now, to some of you guys who are not super educated in sharpening, you might be wondering what the heck the difference is between the 4000 and the 1000 we were slicing paper before. It's the subtle things. It's looking at that edge there, that margin, and looking at what the tear is like, or what the cut is like, how smooth it is, sorry, and how the knife feels going through it. With the 1000, there's just a slight drag. It's super subtle, but if you do it enough, you definitely feel it. And now with this 4000, like I said, no stropping here. It's just, the knife just falls through. It's like the paper falls away. So that's the difference, and it is a beautiful thing. A knife that performs like that. Maybe some of you guys watching have never experienced that. And to you guys, I encourage you to take up freehand sharpening. Learn the skill. Get yourself some good tools. Invest in some quality stones that'll last you a decade. That's so nice. But yeah, I love the art of freehand sharpening, and I'd love for everyone to try it. I want to give a huge thank you and a huge shout out to Paul, or paulsfinest.com. Man, I really appreciate the help. To any of you who support me, you guys that support me by watching, any of you companies that send me product like that, like Paul's Finest, you're literally giving me tools to help put food on my family's table. This is my work. I make knives. I do crafts work. Sharpening is a big part of my work. I do sharpening for hire. So these tools are literally things that I use to put food on the table, to put gas in the tank, and any time that can be made easier with your guys' help, it is so appreciated. So yeah, I can't say enough. Go support companies like paulsfinest.com. I'll put the link there in the description. Go buy a little something from him. I'm sure he'd appreciate it, and I'd really appreciate it. If you'd like to, mention my name. Tell him who sent you. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys, for the continued support. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button if you want to help a little extra. Comment down below if you want to help out a little extra. Subscribe to my channel if you're interested in the content or videos like this. Be on the lookout for more videos where I'm playing with these Shaptons. I'm going to have a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.